Welcome to the 123rd episode of my weekly mobile gaming recap series. 123 episodes! Can you guys believe that? And I'm still just as excited about sharing the very best mobile games that I find with you guys. So thank you very much for dropping by today, and if you're new around here, I hope you'll consider subscribing after you've watched this video if you enjoy it. I am trying to get to 20,000 subscribers right now, so thank you very much for all the support. I really appreciate it. Now I've got 4 great games to share with you today, which includes a cute farming RPG, a sandbox MMORPG with no auto gameplay, a fun simulation game about climbing the corporate ladder without getting fired, and a casual mech shooter. And I want to start out strong this week, so here's one of my absolute favorites of this week. It's a game called Harvest Town, and it's a simulation farming RPG with great pixel art, a vibrant universe, and a gameplay experience that many refer to as a free Stardew Valley alternative. The game features a ton of content and gameplay mechanics that revolve around growing crops and expanding our farm and town, such as mining, fishing, raising livestock, exploring caves, and get this, even participating in horse races. While the game is primarily single player, we can even also join multiplayer races and trade items with other players. Progression feels nicely paced in this game, and there's a ton of quests to dive into and achievements to obtain. The main downside is that while the English translation is okay, it's certainly not without flaws. But with that said, the story is mysterious and sweet, and the touch to move controls work alright with a joystick option that can be enabled through the settings. Harvest Town monetizes through incentivized ads and then in-app purchases for cosmetics and to progress faster. And while paying players do have an advantage in some of the in-game events, there are no hard paywalls ruining the free-to-play experience. It can be played offline, takes up 549 megabytes of space, and it's honestly just a relaxing adventure perfect for any fan of RPG simulation games, so be sure to check it out. Next up this week is a game that I know many have been waiting for a long time, and it's of course Albion Online, which is a cross-platform sandbox MMORPG with a classless combat system, player-driven economy, a large focus on grand-scale PvP, and no auto systems. Progression in this game is inspired by old-school grindy MMORPGs, which means various skills need to be leveled up by collecting, refining, and crafting resources into gear that can then be used or sold to other players on the marketplace. Something I found uniquely interesting about this game though is that equipment pieces actually also have combat abilities attached to them, which makes acquiring new gear rather exciting, as you're not just getting better defense and, improving your overall stats, but you're also unlocking new abilities that you can use during combat. Since there are no predefined character classes, we can also equip any weapon or type of gear at any time, which makes it easier to get into the game for new players since we don't have to decide on a build during character creation. The combat system in Albion is somewhere in between the very slow-paced Warhammer Odyssey system and then the over-the-top and fast-paced setup found in Black Desert Mobile, and I found this mix to work quite well for mobile. Since we lose all of our gear if we die though, both PvE and PvP is rather hardcore, and most endgame PvP content is also ruled by large guilds that we're almost forced to join to be able to participate, making the game unideal for solo players. The low poly art style is okay, but the UI in this game, in this mobile client, is just way too small. Thankfully though, the controls work very well and offer both joystick and tap to move options. But for grand scale PvP, PC players will of course always have an advantage. Albion Online monetizes through in-app purchases for a premium currency that can be spent on vanity cosmetic items or an $11 monthly subscription that lets us progress faster. The only complaint I really hear about this system is that paying players can sell the premium currency for in-game silver. You of course have to be online to play the game, it takes up 4.1 gigabytes of space, and it is a great game for those who enjoy this MMORPG sub-genre, and it's way less pay to win than most other mobile MMORPGs, so I think it's worth taking for a spin. The only thing to really be aware of is that the developers don't have the best reputation among the early supporters of the game, although, to be honest, that is unlikely to impact you as a new player. Okay, so I hope you're ready for a bit of a strange one here, because Don't Get Fired is a challenging, unique, and weirdly relaxing RPG about climbing the corporate ladder of a Korean company without getting fired. Starting our career as an intern, our job is to collect and complete work tasks from our colleagues to then earn gold and experience that may eventually lead to a promotion. Every task is completed automatically within a few seconds, but we can also continuously tap our character to increase our work speed, although this does deplete our HP, which may eventually lead to us losing our job because of stress. But that is just one out of 20 literally 9 different ways to get fired in this game that we gradually get to, let's call it, experience as we progress in the game. Some of which, by the way, are triggered by random events that we have no control over. Now, when we then do get fired, we start a new job at a lower rank and have to work our way up again. Thankfully, the more we get fired for the same reason, the less the chances are that we'll get fired for that reason the next time. To increase our chances of getting promoted, we can also spend gold on improving our HP, our work speed, our speaking skills, and our leadership abilities. Now, the game is very challenging and it's also initially very slow-paced, but the humor shown throughout makes it a fun and lighthearted experience. Don't Get Fired monetizes through banner ads at the bottom of the screen, incentivized ads for bonus gold, and then in-app purchases starting at $1 to remove the ads and gain a bunch of gold. Although the in-app purchases aren't necessary to enjoy the game, watching a few of these incentivized ads feels almost mandatory in the early game since gold is earned very slowly in the beginning. Don't Get Fired can be played offline, it takes up only 133 megabytes of space, and it's one of those types of games that you can easily play while watching Netflix or YouTube, so if that's what you've been looking for, this is an easy recommendation. And now for something very different from that, because I played a game this week called Armored Squad, which is a casual and fast-paced 3D mech shooter featuring both offline playable single player and online multiplayer with friends or random opponents. Now, the main appeal of this game is its incredibly high level of mech customization that lets us buy lots of different over-the-top and silly weapons, turrets, armors, engines, and equipment, a bit like in Astrocraft. Many of these parts even drastically change the gameplay once equipped, such as jump jets, for example, and shields that lets us play more offensively. Now, once we're then happy with our mech setup, we can take it into a variety of game modes, including capture the flag, deathmatch, bomb delivery, and of course, even football. But since the multiplayer game modes are heavily dominated by high-level players, the single player and the friends-only multiplayer are the best ways to enjoy this game as a new player. The menu UI in this game is very unpolished, and it's also slightly confusing even, and the art style is, you know, mediocre. But the fun gameplay and the decent controls with auto-shooting make the game a worthwhile experience for players looking for a casual and not too serious mech shooter. Armored Squad monetizes through relatively frequent advertisements that can be removed by purchasing any of the in-app purchases that unlock special mechs or additional coins used to buy mech parts faster. These coins are also earned through gameplay though, and with the most expensive in-app purchasing costing only $12.99, the monetization is on the lighter end for mobile mech shooters. It can be played offline, takes up 193 megabytes of space, and if you don't mind the advertisements or you can pay to remove them, I think it's worth considering checking out if you have some friends to play with. And there you have it, my friends, 4 awesome games in less than 10 minutes. 10 minutes. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for watching till the end. Be sure to leave a like if you haven't already, because then until next time, just keep gaming, stay awesome, and I'll see you guys around. Now, a very big part of the appeal of this game is its incredibly high level of mech customization that lets us buy lots of different